Hello everybody, welcome back to the Foreman Files YouTube channel. Today we're going to be discussing why I think the Charlotte Hornets will be known for trading Kobe Bryant on draft night and passing up on Scoot Henderson. So first, I want to start on the last couple of days, who we thought was going to pick. It kind of changed every day. Like 2 days ago, it was looking like the Hornets were very set on Brandon Miller, and they were going to pick on fit rather than skill. And then yesterday we saw a bunch of reports saying the Hornets were probably locked in on Scoot Henderson. Yesterday we saw the Hornets were locked in on Scoot Henderson, so it was interesting seeing that they did end up taking Brandon Miller, and it looked like that, usually when teams are on the clock, they basically already have their pick. Yesterday, it felt like that they were on the clock, like they were deciding between Scoot and Brandon Miller until basically the last second. So, very interesting how they picked Brandon Miller. As you guys probably should know, I don't like the pick at all, and I don't like it because Scoot Henderson is a generational player. Yes, he was not the first overall guy in the draft, but he's still a generational player. He's by far the best point guard in this draft, in my opinion. You could compare him to young Derrick Rose, who we know won MVP, to young Russell Westbrook, who we know won MVP. So it's just not the type of guy you can that you could skip on, because we know LaMelo Ball and his versatility. He's 6'6", 6'7", actually. I think him playing off ball would be good for him. His jump shot is good enough where he could catch and shoot. He's still good at driving to the basket. Even from the wing position, he'd still be able to distribute to his teammates. And I just overall just like the pick because it's the second overall pick. You can't skip on a generational guy on pick 2. Like, that was just crazy for me. I thought that they would know that you have to pick Scoot Henderson because there are no other players like him. There has not been a player like him since 2011, since Derrick Rose. Or he was not even drafted 2011. Since 2008, Derrick Rose. You know what I'm saying? So, it just didn't make sense to me. And, going back to LaMelo's versatility, he can play the wing. Though he's not a great defender, he has the size, he has the length to be a good defender, a plus defender in the league. So, I thought they were going to put Scoot and LaMelo in the backcourt. Scoot, he driving kick to LaMelo, I felt that was like something that the Hornets would be interested in. Something that the Hornets would actually want, considering Scoot's aggression and LaMelo being able to, slow the game down, play at his own pace and stuff like that. And actually, with Scoot falling to pick 3, I'm a little scared for him because I don't know what's going to happen to Damian Lillard. I don't know if they're going to keep Damian Lillard. No one knows what's going to happen to Damian Lillard. He's thinking about his future. They were saying, like, this is the one time that he's actually thinking about leaving Portland or something of that nature. So if he doesn't end up leaving Portland, I'm very scared for Scoot Henderson because he's not going to start. I don't think he'll start right away because of Shaedon Sharpe and Anthony Simons. I don't think he starts ahead of them right away. Maybe Sharpe, but obviously Simons is not playing the 3. So I thought Scoot Henderson should be put in a position where he starts right away, where really he can just run the offense by himself, where he can get in the paint, where he can attack, where he can distribute for his teammates, where he can shoot the mid-range, where he could even work on the 3 a little bit more. I thought he was going to go into a position where he was the face of the franchise, not a position where the franchise doesn't know what they're doing. They have not known what they're doing since last year when we thought Damian Lillard could have been traded. So, very interesting. What's also interesting is that it didn't look like no one cared about what Brandon Miller's past was, obviously with the incident back when he was in college. Didn't look like that mattered at all. Looks like he was going top 3 no matter what. I remember about a month ago, before the NBA draft lottery, maybe a little bit more, I did like a mock draft lottery sim on the website that we used yesterday for the mock draft, and it was a position where the Spurs fell to 3, and I forgot who was at 2. It was like I think it was the Pistons were at 1 and the Rockets were at 2. Pistons obviously Wembanyama. Rockets obviously with their point guard help, Scoot Henderson. And, you know, I wouldn't take Brandon Miller at 3 if I was the Spurs at that point, but obviously not put in that position. So I'm happy for Brandon Miller because that didn't affect him at all. Obviously amazing. He was SEC Player of the Year, I believe. No, he was SEC Player of the Year. Obviously Freshman of the Year as well. So, I mean, interesting seeing that the NBA didn't really care about the gun charges, as we know how they treat Ja Morant right now with the position he's in. So it's just interesting to me. I don't think anything will be done about it. If it does, I'll be very surprised. Also want to talk about Brandon Miller's fit with the Charlotte Hornets. It's an amazing fit. It's exactly what they need. He'll play very well next to Miles Bridges, assuming he'll be back next year. Brandon Miller is probably the best fit they could find in the drafts, besides Victor Wembanyama, obviously. But him playing the wing, him being able to spot up and shoot, maybe go off the dribble once in a while, it's just exactly what they needed, and I think it's going to help them become a playing team maybe next year, maybe the year after that. But what they're building right now, I think is going to, it should end up well. I'm just saying if they would have drafted Scoot Henderson, would have ended up much more better. So, I mean, next year we're probably going to see a lineup of LaMelo. I don't really know what's going to be at the 2. Maybe Terry Rozier. I don't know if he stays or not. Brandon Miller at the 3. Miles Bridges at the 4. Mark Williams at the 5. Or Nick Richards, I guess. But if you want to play big, Brandon Miller at the 2 is not a terrible idea. I mean, we see what his shot can do. We've seen how good of a shooter he is. We've seen how much he's been able to attack off the dribble, how he's able to find his spots. You know, similar to a Paul George, who we see he's been compared to from time to time, and apparently that's his NBA GOAT. So the fit's amazing. I'm not mad at the fit. I'm just mad at they didn't make the right decision at all, and I think they're gonna regret that in the coming future. I mean, if we want to look at Scoot Henderson's fit with the Charlotte Hornets, I mentioned it earlier. It would have just been Scoot driving and kicking. I think that would have probably been mirrored their whole offense, because LaMelo Ball, his 3-point shot would have been good enough. We know LaMelo plays at his own pace, and Scoot plays a lot faster. So we don't know if that had anything to play into it. I don't think so, because of how good of a player both Scoot and LaMelo are. So his fit would have been fine, I think. I don't think there would have been too much problem. I don't think you can pass on such a player of his nature. So I don't know. I don't like it. Next moves for both teams. I would not be surprised if the Charlotte Hornets ended up finding a younger shooting guard in free agency. Like, a player I might want to throw out is Austin Reeves. I think he'd be a great fit with the Hornets. Another player, just off the top of my head, I don't really know, but off the top of my head, Austin Reeves came to mind. Obviously, he's going to want some money, but the Hornets are able to give him some money. So, we'll see what they could do at the shooting guard position if they find someone, if they end up rolling with Terry Rozier another year. Probably not James Bouknight, but you never know. Yeah, interesting to see what they do in free agency. Obviously, with the Portland Trail Blazers, talked about it so much, but see what they do with Dame, see how they approach the situation, see who's getting moved. It looks like they're not moving Shaedon Sharpe. Looks like he's probably the only saved guy in this equation. See if they're moving Dame. They could still move Scoot. You know, they could probably move Anthony Simons. He looked like the most likely guy to move a couple weeks ago. But yeah, it's just gonna be interesting to see how the Blazers deal with this, how they're going to go on with the future, if they are going to trade Damian Lillard or if they're going to try to build around it. That's really the main question. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, and be making more draft content later today. Sweet.